Eyes up, Guardian. We are here at Gamescom 2016. I'm here with none other than the video guy, CJ Gibson.
Private matches!
I know. Big news here at Gamescom, which you've probably all heard by now. They announced private matches. We got to play the Wretched Eye Strike. Got to check out some actual single player. They had a huge vid doc. Be sure to check that out if you haven't yet. But we're going to talk a little bit about multiplayer and the strike and just kind of our early impressions. Of course, we'll have lots more of that to come on Fireteam Chat. But CJ, let's start with, what is Supremacy Mode and what'd you think of it?
Supremacy Mode was really good. It's basically you drop an emblem, and if you get a chance to pick it up, you get points. But if you get a chance to deny somebody from picking up the one you drop, then nobody gets any points and you're back to square one.
Yeah.
The piece of the puzzle I really liked about it is that being a Call of Duty guy, also it's very much kill confirm. So if you played kill confirm, that game type, it's really fun. It's a new way to play multiplayer Destiny, and all the little details they've added to it, like audio cues when you pick up the crest, everything from you gaining a little bit more super to some of those other little gameplay elements. Those were all the things that I thought they were going to add, and now that I've got a chance to play it, not only have they done it really well, it's a super fun game.
Triple down. I mean, you've played a lot of Kill Confirmed in the past. I actually have not, but basically what you have is you have Team Deathmatch with Control, right?
Yeah.
Clash, apologies. And then with Control, you basically have Capture the Flag, basically.
Yeah.
And now you've got Kill Confirmed. These are very popular multiplayer modes. So do you feel this was something that was missing for a long time? And do you have that feeling of like, finally, I'm going to play this like crazy? Or are you like, you know what? It's good in the rotation. Like, where do you land on that?
I think it's going to be an awesome game type that a lot of people really enjoy. Between Clash and Control, they're pretty much still a position where you can snipe and play a long-range game. So what this does is it kind of brings people to a close encounter mode. So from that standpoint, having to get the points, it's not only about long-range kills and all that stuff. You have to put yourself sometimes in coordination to get into vulnerable situations, which you'd sometimes not do if you had a sniper from long range. You're just hanging out in the backside.
But you can, worry not, you can still be a sniper, right? So if I get the kill and CJ runs in here and picks it up, I actually still get half of that point, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if you get the kill, pick it up, you get 2 points.
Yes.
If you get the kill and someone else picks it up, will you each share one of those 2 points, right?
And that's a great way, I think, to allow people who excel in different areas. If you're running shotgun or a fusion rifle, you can probably be the guy close to the ground picking up all the stuff, and if you're going to play a little bit further back from the point, sniper rifles are still going to be beneficial in that game mode.
But yeah, definitely for me, I noticed, I think it's a much needed game mode. We've played plenty of Clash and Control, lots of fun for sure, but like there's only so many game modes in Destiny right now. And I personally don't see myself wanting to play this like all the time. I do like the mode. I absolutely will play it more than...
Not yet.
I know. I will absolutely play it more than Rift, for example. Like, I have no problems with Rift, but it's a certain style, requires a certain teammanship. And so, anyway, what I did like about this was it kind of had me training behind other teammates. I was always looking on the radar about kind of like who I could kind of follow with, because you kind of need that team shot kill approach, I would say, unless you can just steamroll and you're like one of those high KD people who wreck everybody, which is not me, as CJ here knows.
But it's fun. I mean, did you enjoy it?
Oh, of course. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a great addition. Really looking forward to play more. Now, we played a couple maps. I believe it was Icarus, which I believe is the PlayStation exclusive map. And then we got to check out the Floating Gardens, which was the Vex map. So let's start maybe with Floating Gardens, which was actually a little like Burning Shrine, I think.
Yeah, it felt like outside as you kind of came around this big circular bend. There was special ammo. And there was some more kind of narrow corridors in between. But it'll be interesting to see what game modes those sort of play into.
Yeah, we only had limited time with this, bear in mind. Of course, you can go back and watch all of that gameplay and like kind of sift through it and get your feel for it. But, it was such a fast pace through it. What I can say is walking out of it very quickly, it felt good. I didn't feel like, with some of the additions with some previous maps, you've kind of felt like, I don't know if I want to play that map very often. These felt very natural.
Yeah.
Like, what was your take?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, Bungie does a really good job at creating points on the map that are recognizable and flow. You already recognize there's going to be some kind of call out for this area. So from that standpoint, yeah, the game mode, I think Supremacy worked really well on both maps. Again, being a Trials player, I always wonder if it's going to be able to work on that. And I don't know. I mean,
always think about Trials.
Always thinking about Trials in the background. But it's hard to say right now. I mean, from a scale of the maps, there's some definite sort of heat map areas. in both of them, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out with the new meta of the game.
Yeah, Icarus was more of that funnel map, and Bungie itself had kind of said, joking it being a bit of a meat grinder. I think it was Lars that said that, because it's got an open sort of center area, right? And it's funneling you through those tunnels, so if you want to get in there, it's going to be like dangerous, but you won't be that exposed. Whereas, of course, you'll be super exposed if you're out in the middle, but it felt like it had a very good balance to me.
Yeah.
So I definitely felt like both of those two maps felt good. I think, look, like you said, Bungie has designed a lot of multiplayer maps. Nobody's perfect. I think there's some maps that could be better, but these felt pretty good off the bat for me.
Good. I think overall, too, the new pieces that they've integrated into the artifact system was awesome.
Yeah.
I got a chance to play as a Titan, and I'm going to probably butcher this, but is it Memory of Perrin?
Yeah, it's Perun or Perrin. We're just going to say Perrin for now until we get the official word from Bungie.
Anyways, that was awesome. Having that ability to see when your enemy was low health and a super, or if he had a super, highlights them
like
yellow.
Like seeing some of the sites would allow you to do this.
And that was something where I wasn't sure how it was going to be implemented. I was wondering, okay, are you going to be able to see that like through the walls? Is it going to be one of these like, Promethean vision things where like in a different game mode, it's like all of a sudden, no. It's like you have to be in visible contact of the enemy. When you die.
Can they be super far away? Did you have any problems with that?
No,
it's like
super far away,
and you'll
whatever.
see the outline.
As soon as you see them. So the nicest thing is, especially when somebody does have a super and you're zoomed in or you're trying to go for a crest, if they have that, psychologically you go, oh, I'm just going to stand back here and probably not go and get all those crests that are laying on the ground. So, and I consciously did that a few times. I'm like, okay, I'm going to play very far back from this person that I know has a super.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, and for Supremacy mode, that would be handy, where maybe they're like trying to even like bait you in or something like that. Now you're like, wait, I'm not getting near that
100%.
Titan slam.
And that's where, as a, in trials, you're kind of keeping up with that stuff anyways. We have a friend here.
Yeah, they're not on camera, but there's a giant penguin of some kind. The Kingwin.
He's probably going to be in there now. He is.
Not in Destiny. What's up, Kingwin? Did you like the Crucible modes that they showed?
I'm sure this guy loved it. The new Rise of Iron content.
But we will continue. The artifacts, they feel good. There's a big question of is there going to be a thorn effect where one of these is like, oh my, everybody's using Third Eye all the time and it's ruining this or that mode, but you do have choices. It's too early to say, I would say. We have not been able to play any significant amount to be able to tell yet.
I don't think,
are you worried about that?
I'm not. I don't think there's anything in there that breaks the game. Even the one that I had active there, it's really nice because it allows you just more information, additional pieces of the radar, all that other stuff. It's additional intelligence for you to gather as you're going about your business. There's games and modes where trials, you're kind of keeping track of who has a super anyways already.
Yes.
So in this situation, for 6v6, Rumble, Supremacy, all those game modes, I think that is going to be one of the most valuable artifacts. But there's going to be a bunch of things I think that just show up in the next little bit.
Some of the artifacts wouldn't do you any good in PvP, like the ability to possess a character. So it's
I did try.
Yeah, you tried to do that.
Just to see.
It didn't work.
No.
But yeah, I think there is a danger, I actually would say, of there could be some of that new meta that they hadn't considered certain combinations of things causing trouble. But I like that the artifacts actually do something, so it's a bit of a wait-and-see situation on that. So let's talk about the strike, the Wretched Eye. So the story behind this strike is an ogre has actually had his eye snatched out by some of these priests, fallen priests, I believe, and so they made a weapon out of it. And if you recall, the ogre eyes are these just purple laser,
they do
semi-automatic lasers.
They do
They're
damage.
Intense. So they've equipped them on sort of this cannon, and they're shooting them at you. So you basically, in this strike, you lead up to it, shooting these little piles of what looks like Siva piles. So I definitely got that wrong in the storyline. But anyway, you're basically blowing up these little modules as you move along, and you open up the new areas. That was very standard. Felt like a good strike. It felt fairly long, it didn't feel too short or anything like that, but it was pretty straightforward is what I would say. It didn't feel like, oh wow, have you seen this new thing, or there was this platform puzzle in the middle of it, but you get to the end and there's a cool boss, kind of like the Dark Blade, where you go down in and you see the Dark Blade. It has that feeling of, boom, this ogre's in chains and his eye's missing and he can't see you, and then these splicer priests appear, and we had Gallahorn equipped, Iron Gallahorn.
It does damage.
And, of course, we just kind of nuked those guys. But they took a lot of convincing to die.
Yeah.
So that was my rough impressions of it.
No, I mean...
what do you have to add?
I think for the most part, because it's Cosmodrome and you've kind of been there before, it does feel familiar.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
Plaguelands, I would take it.
Yeah, but...
assume it's Flaglands.
I think, yeah, even with the new enemies, that was kind of cool to be able to engage with them. There's a little bit of a different movement and a different sort of, pattern to their style.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool. And anytime you see new strikes and new missions, it's always neat to play through for the first time.
And
so.
Caveat, I've played upwards of 1,000 hours. You have as well. So if you have not played a ton of Destiny yet, I think I make it sound like, it's just another strike. It feels good. It's a fun strike, but it does feel like a lot of what I've already done before. I'm looking forward, again, I always bring this up, I want to see boss characters like that are a little more complex.
Yeah.
Did I have to shoot the boss somewhere? Did I have to do something very specific, like shield myself from the eye and absorb power from it? And, I'm turning this into Zelda or Metroid, but that's kind of the way I think about Destiny's campaign in that. It does need a little more depth, I think, but the strike was fun. It looked good. The visuals look great. Looking forward to see more of it.
You're really excited for that raid. I mean, basically, you just want the raid.
I do want the raid. I like the raid challenges, but even that, you could use more depth. We saw none of that. A lot more information in the vid doc. We've went much longer than planned, by the way. So should probably wrap things up unless you have anything else to add, CJ.
No, super excited. I mean, just even chatting with Scott and Deej, on the show and everything else like that. It was awesome that they came by. So all the information that's been coming out, I'm sure we'll get a chance to get more details in the next coming weeks. But yeah, no, it's great to come to Germany and check out all the new content. So the countdown is on.
That's right. Well, thanks for hanging out. As he was mentioning, be sure to check out Fireteam Chat. You can find it at youtube.com/FireteamChat. It's our weekly Destiny show. Of course, at IGN, if you're there, you just go up, click on shows. It's right over there. You can check it out every week, and be sure to do that. So as always, CJ, until next time, everybody, Guardians out.